Dead games? Not necessarily dead, maybe like outdated. You never know. Alright, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Steam. Valve's big 2003 release, which for any regular viewers of the channel is just a few years before you were born. By far the biggest...
Honestly, touche. My brother has an account from 2005, I think.
This gaming distribution platform for PC players around the world, with 120 million monthly users, Steam is home to thousands of different games, some of which are played by hundreds of thousands of players every single day. Titles like CSGO, Dota 2, Rust, and GTA 5, all just in the top 10. There's a game for everyone on Steam.
What were those other games, man?
As long as they're not made by Nintendo. Well, let me draw your attention to SteamCharts.com, a website that analytically lists the player count of every single game on Steam live.
PUBG is still up there. That's how you know this video's old. PUBG is still in the top like 10.
From the date of release. Well, after spending a while just looking around, I soon realised you could filter the games by player count. And when I realised I could manually change the page number in the URL, my neurons activated. At around page 400, there it was. Hordes of games with 0 current players, games sat dormant, forgotten about, waiting to be played. And I was here to do just that. So with my newfound list of games that quite literally nobody had touched for months, with most of the reviews on the games being from years back, I used a complex algorithm called picking the ones that looked interesting, and I selected 13 games in total. I tried my best to find a range of games, and to simplify things, I split them into rough genres: miscellaneous/sandbox, puzzle, action/shooter, platformers/adventure,
oh my god, this should be good
and
chat.
horror. Oh, also, I streamed a few of these games over on Twitch, so if you want to see impeccable gameplay, the link's in the description.
Man, Joe, you kind of suck, man. That was... Hey, man. Almost as good as me at Valorant.
And with that out of the way, step aside, IGN. I'm here now, and you, strap in, gamer. Because this is going to be a hell of a ride. But first, this video is sponsored by Displate. The days of paper posters are a thing of the past. Literally, paper was made in ancient China like a long time ago and stuff. We've moved on to metal now, soldiers, and Honourable Lord Displate produces high quality, one-of-a-kind metal posters with millions of designs for you to choose from. Fill up all of your walls. Display has hundreds of official partners. We're talking Marvel, Star Wars, DC, Angry Birds, and the funniest thing
Angry Birds. Imagine being one of those schizos that buys like a display for Angry Birds, man.
Of the pepperoni pizza.
The setup is ultra easy and wickedly fast. Acquire a wall, wipe wall with Displate wipes, apply protective leaf, peel foil from magnet, stick magnet on wall, stick Displate on magnet, and you're done. Then you can switch them out to describe you best. Metal is harder, better, faster, and stronger than paper. But you know where paper comes from? Yes, trees. Well, Displate has that covered too. You are so clever, Displate. For every one poster that is purchased, Displate will plant one whole tree through their forest garden project. They've planted over 15 million so far. You are quite literally turning your stylish display into a carbon-based life form. You've improved the planet in seconds, so now you can get back to watching educational internet content. And you can get a maximum of up to 27% off your Displate order using the link in the description. So what the heck are you waiting for? Go forth, my loved ones, into the world of Displate. So firstly, the miscellaneous/sandbox category. Weird games that don't really fit into a specific genre, hard to pin down or describe.
Oh, I've seen the toast one with the buttered toast.
Most abstract, if you will. Or creative games, games like Minecraft, Garry's Mod, or the search for Fran. Welcome to City Park. You are here to search for Fran. While searching, you can talk with people and go on quests. Simple, yet intriguing. Who was this Fran character? And why were we searching for him? Well, I couldn't wait any longer. I handed over my 76p of British currency and got into the action. The game booted instantly. No start menu, no settings, nothing.
You know, honestly, laugh all you want, but sometimes there should not be tutorials for games that are just simple. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just let me figure it out sometimes.
I personally think big AAA titles should do this. You push God of War into your PlayStation 4 and it just boots up straight into the gameplay.
Yeah.
No intro at all. Well, you play this fine gentleman, rocking a grey t-shirt, denim jeans, and a bust-down watch, who I quickly discovered could fire large red balls out of his abdomen for absolutely no reason at all. I mean, they didn't actually seem to do anything. Now, the core gameplay is simple. You say hello to an NPC, then a big red laser beam appears somewhere nearby, you run there, speak to another NPC, and then the process repeats. And that's it. So after getting to grips with the complex mechanics, I set forth. I obtained a purple Tesla, which drove like a dream, by the way. And I reached my destination, said hello to the NPC, and drove to meet my next quest giver, a lonely man doing sit-ups. Next to a space shuttle. I climbed in, took off.
Dude, this is like a fever dream, man.
And experienced the smoothest gameplay on the planet. Now, if you hadn't worked it out already, the whole game was janky. The NPCs acted strangely. I fell through concrete floors numerous times. The performance was generally shit, even for my epic PC. And I don't know if this man is some sort of god, but he could jump over trees and buildings, run under lanes, and outpace moving cars. Not to mention, the soundtrack
Schizo game,
which
man.
is the playlist of royalty-free dubstep that would randomly change as you played the game.
What the
Alas,
fuck?
I didn't let any of this get in my way. I was going to find Fran, whoever they were, wherever they were. I was coming for them. I spoke to NPC after NPC, greeting after greeting. People
Let's
exercising,
freaking
a cat, a dog. Are you Fran? No. Are you Fran? No. Are you Fran? No. I raced an old man and smoked his ass. Won a penalty shootout against a small child. I traversed mountains, bodies of water, forests. I was on a quest. And finally, I found Fran. She was an elderly lady in a glittery ball gown stood in a forest. But we were united after all this time. She was beautiful. Just look at this face.
Damn,
we were together.
what a
last.
mug.
At least I think this is Fran. Nothing actually happened when I found her. I just had no more quests left. But hey, the chat loved it. And that was the search for Fran. Sure, it was a broken mess with no real story or gameplay. But maybe there was a deeper message. Love.
Why is everybody afraid of love?
That nothing can come in between two people. Like literally nothing. You can jump over pretty much all of it. Maybe Fran was the friends we made along the way. Like this man.
Hello everyone!
I also discovered some not-so-official merchandise for the game where I proceeded to purchase 92 units and they will be shipping to lucky viewers anytime soon. I even found this guy who I believe to be the creator of the game. I thought maybe I could get some insight into the design process.
Honestly, like, let me look at that profile.
I even found this guy.
158 hours on RimWorld. Honestly, not that bad. The guy likes good games.
Who I believe to be
He
the
just
creator
wanted to
of
be
the
one
game.
of them,
I thought
huh?
maybe I could get some insight into the design process. I added him, sent him a message, and got ignored. Oh, I also want to add, the search for Fran doesn't have a single attempted record on speedrun.com, and it would be a real shame if someone, maybe someone watching this video, were to change that. Weird NPCs, weird soundtrack, love. 8 out of 10. Doodle Date. Now, when I added this one to the list, I was quite excited to play it. The premise seemed fun. I mean, it even had a start menu, which was an upgrade already. In this game, you play in the perspective of a lonely student that had a boring summer vacation, sat inside all day playing video games, with no interaction with women.
Wait, that's like ideal for chat. What do you mean? No interaction? Just playing video games? Sign me up!
Editing YouTube videos for hours on end. But when he draws in said diary, the doodles seemingly come to life. Well, we're soon introduced to Claire, one of said doodles who works as the host of the game, inviting you into Doodle World, which is just a JPEG image of some lined paper. And our first task is to draw our favourite fruit, so I strapped on my beret and got the creative juices flowing. I produced this apple, peach,
that looks like a peach. Looks like an ass.
thing. And I added a face for some reason, to make the piece surrealist. Mask! I wasn't entirely sure what I was doing, I will admit, but Claire seemed to like it regardless. But then, she set a real task. Draw your dream date. This was the moment I was waiting for. I'm playing Doodle Date.
If it's not a stick woman with big booba, I'm not interested.
And it was time to doodle my date. Now this seemed easy enough, but who would I draw? I can draw anyone. At first I thought maybe I'd draw Fran. I mean, after all we've been through. But no, I started to sketch. My artwork took form, facial features appearing seemingly out of nowhere. And finally, I was done. Linus, my one true love. I was then asked to draw Linus in a range of emotions. Shy, sad, sultry, and angry. I delivered. So with a fully fleshed out Linus, the date could then commence. I've created a visual dramatic recreation because the gameplay is mostly text-based, but I assure you, everything you're about to see is actually part of the storyline in the game.
Okay.
The night air was cool. An MP3 file of hummingbirds played in the background. Linus took me to a nice restaurant. I drew a waiter, a monk. lady in a suit who proceeded to flirt with me, which angered Linus, who suggested we call the date there and arrange for another time. I'm taken back to a dark apartment where Claire returns, asking me to draw an outfit for the rearranged date. Of course, I draw Linus Tech Tips merch. How
You actually made good content out of this game. Holy crap.
fitting. I was sure Linus would love it. Claire assessed the fit. Wow, that looks like shit, she said. I shed a tear and threw it in the bin. The second date took place in a park. At night, we sat on a bench. Linus called me cute, leaned in, and pressed his graphite mouth against mine. And it was here that I swiftly left.
Oh, this is
Returning
hot.
home, back at the dingy apartment, I was greeted by Claire again, who without barely any dialogue, flung straight into full detailed romance, and before it could go any further, I alt-F4'd the game. So what I thought would be a fun, light-hearted doodle
Appropriate.
game with a creative mechanic that allowed
All women are bad.
the player to draw characters and objects that they interacted with, turned out to be me kissing Linus Tech Tips on a park bench, which was self-inflicted, I will admit, and a full-on fanfiction 20 minutes into a game made by Akuma.
piss.
Unique mechanic,
Massive
weird
piss.
dates.
Smuggelana nod, Smuggelana tail.
Thank you, Legs. There's the 4 bites.
Fanfiction. 2 out of 10. Dog Pet was a simplistic game. Clicking play, you spawn on a grass plain, and the sensitivity was very high. After swiftly
Whoa.
fixing that, you use these 2 pale white rubbery hands to pet this dog. Now, it didn't actually have a head,
Dude, it looks like a turd, man.
or a face, but it was just like petting a real dog. The more you pet the furry silhouette, the more hearts you gained as a sort of twisted love-based currency. You can then press R to spend 10 of these hearts to spawn yet another dog-shaped blob. The more you pet, the more you dog. After a while, I had a lot of dogs. Oh, and you could whistle to attract them. So I did the reasonable thing and flung them all off the world border. Wow. Dog Sky. And that was it. I paid £2 whole for this game.
Wow, he got fucking scammed. I hope he got his money back.
This was the most expensive one on the list. This game is basically Nintendogs light with none of the features of Nintendogs. Lots of love, bad dog graphics, dogs can't fly. 3 out of 10. So with the
1
previous
out of
3
10.
games focusing mostly on the concept of love, I wanted a change. So I broadened my horizons and went from the heart to the brain. I wanted
Nice.
a mental challenge. So onto the puzzle category I went, and along came the Ballad of the Masked Bandits. Now the title screen of this game filled me with hope. A western theme with a great sound.
Why does this look like a game that I've played on mini clips, man? I swear I've seen this before.
Track to accompany. A lone banjo sitting against a wooden board. The aesthetic was there. I click start, high
Wow.
select,
Red Dead
jailbreak.
Redemption.
In this video, we're gonna see how you can jailbreak your devices.
A book appeared. On the left, a floor plan of the prison. On the right, a
Wow.
note. We've been locked up. Gonna have to find the keys to get out of these cells. Then we have to find a way out of the building without getting caught. I swear I saw some dynamite in the office when they dragged us in here. Maybe we can use it in our escape. Brian. You played as these 3 raccoons that had been in prison for some reason, probably tax fraud. And through switching perspectives between the 3, you have to solve
Okay, this is kind of cute. Like with the little raccoon.
puzzles to escape.
whatever it is.
Navigating the starting cells wasn't
I
too
think it's a
hard.
raccoon.
You use raccoon 1 to smash
It's
through the concrete
Snuffy.
wall, unite with your raccoon comrades, push some boxes around, and then you raccoon stack and stand on each other's heads in a trench coat, like the funny comedy cliche.
I'm looking to buy a fine automobile from him.
That is a huge trench coat! Man, we look so grown up.
Now this mechanic was super weird. It was mostly used to allow the top raccoon to reach higher areas, like getting you up out of the vent to grab the cell keys, but it also doubled up as a disguise of sorts. So when all 3 raccoons were triple stacked, you could briskly walk near the
It's actually not that bad of a concept. It's just cute one-off.
men reminiscent of the enemies from Super Hot.
Super hot.
And you blended in perfectly. They didn't suspect a thing. But go in with just 2 raccoons, and they go fucking mental, chasing you everywhere. Maybe it's a height thing, like they aren't human size, but in both setups, there would still be a raccoon's head sticking out the top of the trench coat anyway. In fact,
I would not question a damn thing if I saw that.
you get chased a lot. And to make it even worse, the AI was absolutely clueless. Oh, he's chasing me. Oh, he's just forgot that I exist.
Oh, it's kind of like in the style of that goose game. I forget what it's called. The annoying goose.
I've got to go.
The mechanic of switching
I gotta
between
go.
raccoons was a unique concept, sure, but it became very tedious and annoying very quickly. With all the men walking around randomly, and all the puzzles getting more advanced as the game goes on, it became impossible to babysit all 3 raccoons at once without one being randomly caught unsupervised, so you had to replay all the jankiness all over again.
Okay,
90%
that's
of the
dumb.
gameplay was just running circles around the guards rather than actually doing puzzles.
Oh, Untitled Goose Game? Yeah, that game where you're just an annoying goose and you bother people.
They'd even see you through vent systems or phase through objects at times. I feel what makes a good puzzle game is knowing when to put your puzzle at the forefront with no huge distractions, so you can shift the bulk of your focus towards solving the challenge at hand. I'd be halfway through trying to solve a puzzle with one of the raccoons, and I'd just have to quickly switch to another to hide under a table. It all just got in the way. Trying to solve puzzles whilst being chased and managing multiple characters at the same time isn't the easiest. Can you imagine trying to play Portal whilst getting attacked by a horde of fucking zombies whilst managing 3 characters at once? It would totally ruin the entire experience. Overall, sure, the theme of the game was nice, even if raccoons aren't desert animals, and the soundtrack fit the theme well too. And the smallest puzzles that I actually got the chance to complete worked well enough. But the god-awful camera was maybe the biggest puzzle of the entire game. It was constantly zoomed out to the point where you'd be trying to play whilst at the back of the shot, so you were so small you couldn't even work out what was happening. Not to mention it would randomly pan and shoot all over the place as you played the game. The Ballad of the Masked Bandits may not have lived up to my expectations,
It was
but hey,
kinda
at least you
cute,
got to play as a
though.
raccoon. Cool aesthetic, too much happening, awful camera, raccoons. 5 out of 10. Now, it was safe to say the Ballad of the Masked Bandits didn't scratch my puzzle itch. So, let me introduce you to Milo and the Magpies. Now, this game, boy oh boy. So you control Milo, the cat, who after being attacked by bastard magpies, is 3 houses away from his owner.
This reminds me of a Warrior Cats Flash game I've played when I was a kid.
And through a point-and-click adventure, it's your job to try and work through the neighbours' gardens to get home in 9 total levels. Now, I personally loved everything about this game. The art style was stunning. The hand-painted look to all the stages fit the game perfectly, even if some of the animals could use some work. But I found myself just sat staring at the levels for most of the game. It was like you were playing within literal art pieces. The soundtrack by composer Victor Butzlaar was great too. Full-blown classical jazz piano pieces like something out of a cafe in Paris, mixed with atmospheric background melodies as
yeah, this looks like a nice game.
When the game slowed down. Not to mention the music would build and change depending on what was happening on screen. Sweeping violins or drums adding tension. The music
this could be a masterpiece if someone just like polished it.
paired with the artwork carried the entire feel of the game perfectly. It felt light-hearted and almost relaxing. Now the puzzles, the bulk of the game. See, I've never been the biggest fan of puzzle games myself. I dabbled here and there, but definitely not a genre I'd pick by choice. I just get bored too easily and then give up. But these were genuinely some of the most challengingly fun puzzles I'd ever played. Like any point-and-click game, you point, click, and move small objects around, allowing characters to interact with them, playing God almost, and that's it. Much like those mechanics, the levels seemed simple at first glance, but as you played through them, you'd slowly discover small hints or clues that allowed you to progress the game forward. Just take the second stage for example. The Artist. Milo finds his way into an overgrown garden with a fish pond. Propped up against the wall was a bike, with a lock that required 4 digits to open. You'd easily find the 2 of hearts played face up on the table next to a bottle of wine, and after causing a magpie to drop the shed key into the pond, distracting the painter, you'd also discover an 8 on his brush, along with a 3 carved into a newly revealed.
See, I like this kind of stuff because it reminds me of being a kid when you have those Where's Waldo and Little Treasure Hunt games. Yeah, but this is like on the computer. It's so cute.
Now, whilst these 3 numbers were just blatantly displayed on the objects, the 4th digit
Freddy
corresponded
Fish,
to the number of peaks on the crown on a frog ornament. Gifting the player the first 3 numbers and then making you work out the last on your own was a nice touch. Then the order falls into place when you find one of the artist's paintings set out to dry next to the bike. The whole game had small little details as well, hidden items or red herrings that you could interact with, but didn't aid the puzzles in any way. Each of the puzzles just felt well thought through, feeding ducks in an order
like an animated children's book. Yeah, very cute.
Responding to the types of bread on a
cute
dinner
vibes
table,
from this.
lining a child up, kicking a ball with another going down a slide at just the right time to clear the path so Milo could move, using different items to attract various birds to check off a bird-watching list, or a mission I was absolutely stumped on for a good while. Having to crack a code on a safe with 4 letters underneath each digit. Y, X, M, P. I couldn't seem to find any of the numbers until you see a newspaper fall through the letterbox. After repairing what the dog destroyed, you discover the residents of the house. Yvonne, Xander, Marjolaine, And Peter, a
Peter.
family portrait on the windowsill backing this up. Yvonne has a rat, similar to one that you released from a bin bag at some point in the stage.
And you want to know the best part? You probably don't have all the answers, too. Yeah, you don't have the answers. You can't look them up because the game is such a, like nobody has the answers. So you're having to figure it out on your own, just kind of like the old days.
Running over to a bush in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Xander, a stoner that's growing plants in the shed. Marjorie, sat on her arse watching TV, and rearranging the clothes on the washing line in order of the portrait causes her dress to fall on the grass. And Peter stood in the top window.
I'm a big fat bastard.
Who, after giving a bottle of beer that you find in the shed, drops it, smashing on the floor. So with all of these items linked to each member of the family, I still couldn't work out how these linked to numbers in any way. All that would happen when you clicked on them was the dog would walk over and mindlessly bark, and then walk straight back to where he was stood. Examining the newspaper article, clicking on the rat, bothering Xander over and over, until I realised it was the fucking barking.
Yeah, the barking's... Yeah, I thought
number of barks at each object corresponded to the safe code. It probably sounds so obvious when I lay it all out like this, but I was mind blown. Using an audio cue rather than a visual cue totally threw me off. It was super well placed. The light story that ran through the game's details was nice too. Seeing Milo missing on the newspaper, or the artist from the previous stage hosting an exhibition, made the...
This has so much soul into it. I don't know, man. I feel like warm inside seeing this stuff. It just needs a little bit more polish.
The game feels super connected and fluid, not to mention the gardens literally led on from one another, as well as magpies repeatedly subtly showing up throughout each level. And I won't ruin the ending for you, but it ties it all together perfectly. It's clear a lot of effort went into the design of the game. I sat and played the whole thing start to finish in just under an hour. Well thought out, well designed, challenging puzzles with great solutions that felt satisfying and rewarding when you worked them out, accompanied by a relaxing soundtrack to tie up.
I like this guy. He looks like a British guy. The tattoos.
Altogether. Again, I highly suggest you pick this game up and run through it if it looks like your kind of thing.
Definitely check it out.
Even if I did spoil most of the puzzles. Sorry about that. Great art, great soundtrack, well-designed puzzles. 9 out of 10.
How
and I
much
think this is a great place to clarify. I didn't go out of my way to just choose bad dumpster fire messes of games. There are good games on this list. Oh, and that reminds me, onto the action/shooter category. Mustache politics shooter. You run around with a bow and arrow shooting moving wooden targets with PNGs of politicians' faces photoshopped to have mustaches attached to them. All your favourites are here, like the Korea Man and Donald.
I have presidential aids.
It was actually super similar to Call of Duty Zombies, besides the fact it was nothing like Call of Duty.
Oh my god, Chad, this is the best game ever.
Off the floor and special arrows that weren't special at all because they seemingly changed nothing. Oh look, they just took a barrier entity and enlarged it. Oh hey look, there's a hole in the world. Was this all some sort of political commentary? Who knows?
Joe
Great
Biden,
gameplay, 10 out of 10.
up.
Jurassic Attack. Do you like Doom? One of the first-person shooter games, pioneering 3D graphics. Well, think of Doom with dinosaurs. And if it was shit. Well, that's Jurassic Attack. With a menu screen clearly made on Microsoft Paint, equipped with a shotgun and a pistol, you shoot dinosaurs. Run around, run out of ammo, your camera glitches, and then you die. Oh, and opening this door takes you to heaven.
What?
Then the game crashes. Featuring wooden sign, strange caged green creatures, and a movable pile of shit.
It looks like, yeah, I was about to say it looks like poop.
Add Chris Pratt into this game, and we might just have the next Jurassic Park spin-off movie.
He's so cool.
Very disorientating. Not Doom. I visited heaven. 1 out of 10. Now, whilst both Mustache Politics Shooter and Jurassic Attack were evidently action-packed, they lack story. No real lore or background information to lead you in. You're just flung into the game and that's it. Well, that all changes with the Juicer.
Joeseppi.
Juicer?
This guy, he popped it.
We're presented with a comic of sorts. We see a farmer sat in front of a dying pumpkin patch, dreaming of an assortment of rich, brightly coloured vegetables. So he does the reasonable thing and runs to the Genetic Research Centre and acquires a strange blue chemical.
Tesco! G Fuel Energy!
That he sprays all over his crops. And it works, but something went wrong. The pears came to life.
Pears.
Attacking the farmer, so he grabs his gun to defend himself, and we get into the game. Yes.
Bro. I feel like I just got teleported back in time to like friggin' 1982, man. This is so
A
bad.
glorified flash game. You shoot oncoming rabid pairs, they get dropped off by a
Holy
bus
crap.
and a hot air balloon. How does this work? Where is this bus coming from? Have the pairs achieved
Attack
total
of
world
the pairs,
domination to
man.
the point that they've developed a working public travel infrastructure? You have an arsenal of this strange gun and
Oh, they kind of look like VeggieTales. You're right.
frag grenades to eliminate oncoming waves of fruit, filling up your juice meter. You can also collect
Juice
coins that you can then
meter.
spend in the store to
I'm
buy
juicing,
upgrades
I'm
like increased
juicing.
damage, defense measures, or more grenades. Weirdly, on a visual level, the game looked like something you'd see in the 90s, despite being released in 2012. Now, although
Yeah, that is impressive. I swear it looks like a 90s game, yeah.
simple and super
Like an
repetitive after a
educational
while,
90s
the gameplay was
game.
smooth and fun, and nothing broke. It served its purpose. And hey, at least it made more of an attempt of making any sense of what the game was about than the other two did. And who knows,
True.
maybe Shroud will start using this instead of aim labs. The game works. Pairs, frag grenades. 6 out of 10. Onto the platformers slash adventure category. Now, like a lot of people, I'm partial to the new Mario games that the Nintendo put out each year. The world design, the movement mechanics, they're great. I mean, I used to be addicted to Mario Maker on the Wii U a couple years back, and I would say you guys could relate, but I think I was probably the only individual on the planet that had a Wii U. Well, I may have found Steam's answer to Mario, The Adventures of Pee-Pee. When I booted the game up, I was presented with
Pee-Pee.
2 simple options. English or Ruski. You play as this blue Pepe character, who I can
Ruski.
only assume is Pee-Pee.
Ruski Peppy!
The game looks a lot like a standard platformer on the surface. Your goal was to collect these numerous blue fidget spinners dotted
Fidget spinners.
around each level. Now, what relevance the fidget spinner has, I'm not entirely sure. But when you collect all of them, a portal appears that takes you to the next level. There was also these things. Yeah, I have no idea what they are either. The game
That looks like a vape pen.
started out super basic.
Yeah, it's a vape pen. I can't believe it didn't figure that out.
Just jumping and fidget spinners. But then, the
Well, not a
chickens
vape pen,
appeared,
it's like a
and the
vape.
difficulty increased. Whenever PP even slightly touched one of the chickens, the entire level would restart, along with the soundtrack.
Oh my god. He didn't even code the fucking music properly, man.
This, mixed with the horrific jump mechanics, constantly overshooting or sliding off the edge of platforms, made a simple game not so simple. And this spike level was
Flawless.
the bane of my existence. It may have been physically impossible to complete. These triangular spikes had square hitboxes, so you could barely make it past the first one, resetting just from touching the air molecules around.
Oh, what was that game called that Savix played? That really bad game with the hitboxes that were like insanely difficult and unforgiving. Oh, what is it called? No, not WoW. No, not WoW. Shit. What is it called? Someone fucking ping Tammy right now. Not Elden Ring. Damn it. No. The one that goes, wow. With the soundtrack. Damn it, it's gonna come to me. It's the one that's like, comics also played it on stream.
Around each spike.
It'll come to me.
These 2 fidget spinners just taunting you to finish the level. A game about a frog collecting fidget spinners should not
The
be
one that Forsen played on stream too, and he killed the second to last boss and he lost his mind. Big piss. I forgot.
Finally, my final exams are finished. I have time to watch the Fox again. Nag hands up.
Yo, TG! Congrats, man. I hope you got a really good score on your exams, man. Thanks to 4 months. Damn it,
this
man.
difficult. It reminds me of rage platformers like Cat Mario, Super Meat Boy, or Jump King.
Yes. Yeah, it's a platforming rage game.
But the difference with those games is they're
Nice,
deliberately
Aswin.
designed to be difficult, with intent, and great jumps with varied power. Whereas The Adventures of Pee-Pee is unintentionally made difficult through the low-effort design and bad mechanics. Guys, I tried. I really did. I spent maybe 25 minutes on this one level alone, and I don't want to hear that fucking soundtrack ever again. Well, hey, the game must have been a hit with the 0 people that played it over the last month, because believe it or not, there's a sequel, and if it's anything like the first, I'm not interested. I did actually quite like the basic colourful pixel art style, and Pee-Pee was a cool character, I
Peepee.
guess. But not enough to save the game. Poor jumping, fuck spikes, 2 out of 10. And I must scream. Now, I had mixed emotions about this game. So you played as this small boy with an obscenely large scarf, and you had to work your way through winding dark paths, trying to dodge the red light from this huge monstrous spider in the centre of the map. Stand in the demonic red glow, and the boy dies. Oh, just kidding, he respawns.
Dude, he dies of cringe. Look at him get on his knees when he
Monstrous spider
dies.
in the centre of the map. Stand in the demonic red glow, and the boy dies.
He literally dies of cringe, man.
Oh, just kidding, he respawns. The movement was super basic, just forward, back, and up ladders. You could also shift
What
back
the
and forth
hell,
on the
man?
platform's plane, which was a cool addition. You also had equipped this electric ability to move things in your path, and
Okay.
this thing that I have no idea what it does. So overall, this sounds pretty solid. Well, it would be if the game wasn't riddled with bugs. It functioned fine for the most part, but I'd encounter these small spiders that would glitch into the floor. Then when you tried to step around them, you'd just die. And this happened
Dice of
over
cringe.
and over. I also fell through
Dude, he actually does. Dies of cringe. Dies of cringe.
the map. Now, it's annoying because I feel like this game had genuine potential. The premise was pretty nifty, but the execution could have been done so
Lord.
much better. The electric mechanic didn't seem to work to kill anything. Punching boxes made noise, which attracted the spider, which makes perfect sense, but the punch gave you no control. The box would just fly off in some random direction. Imagine how much cooler it would be if you could punch the box forward and then jump behind it to avoid the glow of the spider. I actually really
Yeah.
like the art style though. The grey gloomy levels with the contrast of the bright red light signalling the danger of
Yeah, the art and the thought was there. The actual gameplay was not. That's probably why it just failed. Bad at programming.
literal death worked really well. The game was visually a mashup of Limbo and Little Nightmares with that dark feel to it,
Little
and the side-angle
Nightmares!
cross-section camera. The soundtrack that was credited to Anita Lynn was simple but fit the overall feel of the game well. And as far as story goes, there wasn't one. Well, at least not one I could make sense of. You move upwards through each level, each
Holy
one being
moly.
basically identical to the last, until the final stage where you follow close behind this thing with a lantern. Then the boy puts some flowers down at a gravestone. I mean, is he dreaming? Is this thing his dead relative? The whole game felt just unexplained. And also, it felt like the game was trying to be creepy or weird for the sake of it. Like it felt forced almost. Spooky words just hovering around in midair, or generically creepy objects placed in your way. Not to mention these weird voice lines that meant
Guilt. Rave, vape.
absolutely nothing.
Guilt is a hungry mirror, trapped in a prison made of clocks.
This is like Only Up, but before Only Up was a thing.
What does that even mean? It sounds like one of those quotes off an inspirational Instagram page.
This is how I became Ghost.
Well, after playing through the game, I learned that it was a student project, which explained a lot of my critiques. And after being riddled with guilt,
Oh, yeah, it was made in 3 months. That's not bad.
I guess it is important to remember that a lot of these games are probably made independently or by small studios, and everyone's got to start somewhere. These games are a hell lot
Yeah.
better than anything I could make. So, overall, it was a fine little
True.
game. I had fun with it when it worked. And seeing the bugs was intriguing. Cool art style, no real story, buggy as heck. 4 out of 10. Now, with the past two platformers being most closely related to the 2D simplified side view, what about the third dimension? 3D platform games. I want to explore a little in open stages, stretch my legs. Well, my answer is Brawl.
Bro.
B-roll. Anyway, first, the tutorial. It shows you the ropes. You play as this very buff man. You simply scale grey boxes to learn the basics,
Oh, I can tell this already looks clunky as hell.
but then you can activate ragdoll mode. Stick to surfaces, fall through
Dies of cringe again!
and launch yourself a lot. After mastering the mechanics, I was ready for the first level,
Oh,
Playground.
shit.
Now, there were 17 total checkpoints located around the map, and the aim was to reach them all. By sticking to rollers, floating platforms, doing parkour, and propelling your limp body over ramps with just the right amount of power, which was a lot harder than it sounded. But after some practice, I slowly reached each checkpoint. There was also this strange medieval castle level with a fun catapult and a suit of armour that you damn well bet I swiftly equipped. Overall, Brawl was
Nice.
genuinely fun to play. I found myself enjoying it more and more as time went on. Whilst the game had a simple premise, it was executed great. It was colourful and vibrant, just challenging enough to stimulate my monkey brain. It felt rewarding, reaching each checkpoint after literally 500 attempts, and the entire ragdoll feature being the core mechanic of the game felt super clever and original. It vaguely reminded me of games like Human Fall Flat or Surgeon Simulator with that controlled chaos feel to it. Again, I feel like a game like this would be amazing if people actively tried to speedrun it, with all the different routes and clever skips around the map. Brawl definitely deserves to be
cute,
played by
man.
more people. I was super surprised how enjoyable the game was.
Bro, get off me.
Wicked Ragdoll, bye now. 8 out of 10. Splat the Blob. Playing as this blue blob named Splat, get it? Because the game is called Splat the Blob, so splat is a verb and a noun. Wowza. You jump between Minecraft grass blocks to reach a purple portal at the end of each stage. Hey, they copied the adventures of Pee-Pee. Your first encounter is with Wilbur the elephant that sets you on a task to catch
This is a fever dream, man. That's terrifying. Look at that elephant's face. He's gonna kill you.
Peanut man called Mr. Peanut and return him to Wilbur. And with elephants commonly loving to consume peanuts in cartoons, I don't want to know what Wilbur did with Mr. Peanut. After the sacrifice, you get the choice between 2 abilities, double jump or wall jump, and I went with the first. We also learn that friendly Wilbur's friends have all been killed by poachers, and in the new zone you have to find 5 atoms so he can nuke the poachers. So with that newfound information, I headed through the portal. So there's 2 ways to acquire said atoms. You can collect these blue diamonds that are dotted all around the game worlds, and using this strange machine, you can convert 8 of them into 1 atom. Or you can just simply find atoms hidden in specific locations, and just listen to the sound effect when you pick one of them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The developer just...
This guy just pumped out a game and just was like, alright, fuck it. Woo! Woo! Maybe he forgot to replace the audio or something.
Recorded himself clapping and cheering into the microphone. You know what? I commend it. So in this new stage, you encounter a vacuum pig. Now you're supposed to push various foods over ramps into his mouth, inflating him until the point that he tips over and gives you an atom. Well, I got trapped under said pig, which glitched the game to the point where I could endlessly jump, practically allowing me to fly, which made the game a lot easier. I encountered Miwi, who wanted to race up this giant rose. Oh, does he not know that I could fly vertically upwards? What an idiot. But because I didn't know the race path, he beat me regardless. Splat the Blob was unique. I mean, the whole game was super weird. Vacuum pigs, an elephant warlord, and racing robots.
Again, you know what this kind of reminds me of? Like, you have to fail to succeed. There's a lot of heart in this game, even though it sucks. Everyone has to start somewhere. I don't think Blizzard started with their first amazing game. It took them a couple of tries. Like, you have to let people have a try.
Rodents. It was all like a fever dream.
I'm high on crack.
The open levels were nicely designed and I'm sure would run great if actually played as intended. The various puzzles dotted around the stages did flesh them out, but it all got a little bit boring after a while. The movement was actually pretty fluid though and worked well for the jump puzzles. The sound effects and dialogue were pretty funny and the blue diamonds were genuinely well placed in locations I'd never expect them to be in. They took some genuine jump work to...
Scott Cawthon, he made atrocious games before FNAF. Yeah, like, I just don't understand. That's why I hate it when corpo companies are like, no, we have to make this, we have to squeeze every ounce of game dev talent to make a game that will succeed. Like, sometimes games have to suck to make something good, man.
To get to. When I couldn't fly, that was. Good movement, strange, funny stuff, rip Mr. Peanut. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
So finally. Horror. Now, whilst the other genres featured multiple games, I decided to only go with one singular game when it came to horror. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, fans of horror are very diehard.
So true.
I mean, they'll search around Steam for any game with the horror genre on it to try and find the next unknown indie horror game, which meant on Steam charts, I had a hell of a time finding any horror games that had borderline 0 players. Most had a small amount of active players each month, so it felt disingenuous to include them on the list. Oh, and the second reason, I'm a pussy. Horror has always...
Me too, man. I can't.
...been a huge genre when it comes to gaming. Dark, eerie corridors, creepy storylines, encounters with the undead, or funny YouTubers screaming at jump scares.
I only was even remotely into scary games because PewDiePie would play them. When I was a kid, I would watch Pewds play them. Then I wouldn't be so scared. I'd be like, okay, PewDiePie, you can go, you can do it. I believe in you. I'm scared.
Plenty of competition when it comes to the genre of horror, with huge game series like Resident Evil, Amnesia, Dead Space, or Night Shift. Not to be confused by other horror game, Night Shift, with a space by developer Puppet Combo. No, this one is bad. But it did have potential before I even booted the game up. The trailer on the store page was just a guy casually playing through the game with his mic on.
What is going on with my Discord? Who knows?
Are you kidding me?
Actually, this was the first game on the list with a fully
Are you kidding me? That was the trailer?
Out settings menu. Hey, nice one, Night Shift. Well, the game opens up with you sat at a police desk. And on the desk is a note that was very blown out. Jesus. Well, it was a classified document addressed to Jim Rockford, who I can only assume is you. We find out that Kakij Kassajan was murdered in his home.
Dear Jim Rockford .com.
And that he has a horrifying past.
Nice.
He lost his sisters in a natural disaster. Sorry, it's your job to analyse the crime scene. Tom regards, Blue Island Police Department. The letter also mentions that he now works as a gun for hire, but he's dead, so... there's that. The starting room
Tom
was
regards.
a locked door that needed a key to open.
I'm
On the
regarded.
counter was a jewellery box of sorts, also locked, requiring a 3-digit code. Ooh, what's the code? Well, it's 355. It was on the bottom of the note at the start of the game. You know earlier how I was talking about well-designed, fleshed-out puzzles? Yeah. This isn't one of them. In the box was a flashlight, and in the drawer just below was a handgun and a key.
Crime scene of natural disaster? That's also a really good point. How does that work?
I wonder
The
what
earthquake did it. Oh, okay, cool. Wow, crazy. Moving on.
that's used for. I also found a VHS tape. I powered the VHS player on, inserted it, powered the TV on, pressed play, and sat back. It started playing. The game trailer. Why do I need to see a trailer for the game I am currently playing? And why didn't they use this trailer for the store page rather than some random bloke playing through the game?
That is
Maybe they mixed up the MP3s or MP4s.
the game that I'm playing. Oh, and it's being cut off on the side. Scared the ying. Hell.
Anyway, I unlocked the door and opened it. I was presented with a dark
Having the guy advertising your game make fun of it?
hallway.
Good
So I
business
pulled out
move.
my torch. But it didn't matter anyway, because 3 steps down the hallway you get teleported into a loading screen. You're dropped into the crime scene. Of course, there was Kakij, who didn't look in the best condition, I will admit. On the
Kaka.
table was evidence. Another flashlight and a sack bag, along with a bloodied note labelled lies. A message penciled on the back. I did not want to do it. Sorry.
It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not
did
hit
not
her.
do it.
The other
I
side
did
of the room was a
not.
small hallway with 5 doors total. 3 were completely locked. 1 was barricaded and 1 was open. It led into a dark bathroom. And maybe scariest of all, the
This reminds me of freaking Phasmophobia, the beta.
walls had stock image watermarks. Well, I found absolutely nothing. Until I removed the wooden barricades off one of the doors. It led into a shrine of sorts, a TV surrounded by candles, and another VHS tape. This time, it wasn't the game trailer. It was a creepy video of a man running from something in a dark
Oh,
forest.
no.
What does it mean? Well, I don't know. That was the whole game. Yep, that was all of it. At least I think it was. There was nothing else to do or anywhere else to go. I googled walkthroughs. Of course, I found nothing. And the minimal reviews on the game complained about its length. The graphics and lighting effects were actually pretty good, and the interaction with the items was intuitive, along with the inventory, even if it was just a clone of Resident Evil. But the game didn't go anywhere. Maybe it was unfinished or a demo. Are you supposed to just deduce what happened in your head? I didn't even get a chance to use the cool handgun. But hey, at least the game was free. Looked nice. 2 minutes of gameplay. 2 out of 10. Or with Night Shift giving horror a bad name, that's the end of my list. What a journey that was. 5 genres, 13 games, all offering something very, very different. We've had highs and lows. And whilst being played by pretty much no one, sometimes it's good to give the small guys a try. I found games that I genuinely enjoyed playing that I never would have known about if it wasn't for them.
That puzzle game looks nice, man.
And
How
even
much
the bad
is
games
it?
were entertaining. If you've watched
Chat,
all the
look
way
it
to
up
this
right
point,
now.
I quite literally love you forever. I've made sure to link all the games in the description if you want to go and give them a go. Maybe we can build them a small, active player base. Thanks to Display for sponsoring.
Hello? It muted the audio. I think he got copyright struck. He must have muted the end right there. Yeah, that was weird, but that was a cute video, chat. It's $3? Nice. Yeah, he must have gotten copyrighted because it like muted right at the end there. Planters! What is it called again? Milo and the Magpies. Click proceed. I thought I did. Am I stupid? I thought I did. Oh, never mind. I guess I'm stupid. Yes, $3. Wait, people actually really popped off on it, dude. Look, dude, people popped off on this. Stray Bob Ross edition. Oh, that's so cute, man. Oh, he made it famous. Yeah, that's adorable, man. Oh, so cute, chat. Oh.